Hey, what's up? This is Joshua, Daily Video Blog. It is a brisk day here in downtown Minneapolis. If you are from somewhere that is nice all the time, brisk means it's sort of clear, but it is glove weather, and it's a little bit windy. Let's see. So today's video, let's back up to a story. So I've had this list of ideas sitting on my desktop for a while. One of them was I accumulate all this crap on my desktop from pulling scrap for projects or screen grabs for tweets or whatever, and I throw it all in this folder that's called scrap. And I've had this idea for a while that it's so random that it'd be an interesting thing to make some kind of a zine or publication about. And so the other night, I was sitting down on the couch, was watching Archer. It was kind of late, and I grabbed my laptop and set up it in Design File and just dumped all the images into it and started sort of playing with it. And in general, it didn't feel productive. I think deep down I knew why it wasn't productive, but I was kind of riding it out. And I think one of the problems, well, let's back up. So I try some stuff with it. I try like, what if it's all in order? What if it's in these sort of loose compositions? What if it's all the same exact vertical size, whatever it is, like it's all the same height. But basically, I'm just kind of playing with it, and after I don't know, hour and a half or something, I like put it to bed, and was done with it, and was kind of frustrated, like it didn't come together in the way that I thought it would. Now, there's sort of two problems there. The first problem is that I had this predetermined notion of how it was going to work out. That I was just going to dump it in, and that I had some loosely formed idea in my head, and that I'd put that down, and that would make a thing that I'd had a vision of for probably like 2 years now, which is like extra dangerous. Excuse me. So, I'm checking to see if I'm going bald. So that was sort of problem number one. Problem number two is that I was taking it somewhat seriously. That's not the problem. The problem is that I was taking it seriously, but I wasn't using a serious process. I was sitting there watching TV, half-heartedly doing this thing, kind of screwing around. In general, I was trying to cheat the process and cut corners. I'm going to pull this away from here in case it is fuzzy. So I was basically cutting corners with this project and not doing what really needed to be done or really needed to happen. So I was thinking about this a few days later, and I really realized, like, if you want to do good work, you want to do things that you feel good about, even if they're small little projects, you can't cheat the process. You have to do the thing that you're supposed to do. I was totally trying to cheat the process, so it wasn't working out. So what does that mean? Well, if I'm not going to cheat the process, then I need to use the process I normally use. In this case, that would be gather all the content, collect it in some way. Maybe make some kind of contact sheet in InDesign or Photoshop. Print those out. Start looking through them for what is interesting, looking for juxtapositions that are interesting or idiosyncratic kind of ideas that are in there. And then, once I've collected it and I've started to evaluate it, start to think about ideas of how that content might come together. Is it everything that's in there or some of those things? Is it about juxtapositions like diptychs, or is it these big collages? Sketch out all that stuff and put it all together, or start to sketch out how it might work, or brainstorm 10 different ways of putting it together. But I didn't do any of that. And I should stop. And then once I've done that, grab all of those pieces and start to put them into, like, okay, this sketch is interesting, so let's try a spread like that, or two spreads like that. And this sketch is interesting, let's try two spreads like that. I tried to cheat all of that. So I tried to, one, work while I was distracted in this sort of casual, not high functioning work environment. Two, I tried to do the collection, evaluation, ideation, and design all in one step. And those are distinct steps. And because I was doing that, it was a frustrating experience, and it didn't really go anywhere. I could have taken that exact same hour and a half that I spent on it, and if I had been at, say, the kitchen table, instead of sitting on my couch watching Archer, I would have been able to have gotten a ton of work done that I would have felt really good about, that would have allowed me to get to the next place. Now, for me, that's important because I tend to work in a way that is how do I put this? In my mind, oh, it's a zine. It was this light little thing. But in practice, like I don't do light little things. I try to take all my work really seriously. And in this instance, I was not taking it seriously, but I was still attached to it. So then when I cheated the process, I regretted it. So again, it's super important to understand the process that you have, what works best for you, and then to stick to it and to adhere to it and to treat it as the like bit of valuable insight that you have into your own working methods. Let's see, throw my glove down for a second. That is it. Let's get a nice view of the Mississippi. Well, this is like a little cool offshoot of the Mississippi. As always, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them. If you don't follow me on Twitter or Instagram or stuff like that, you should, because I talk about the same sort of thing, so we can have more of a conversation. All right, thanks a lot.